Hey garden friends, welcome back to Flower Patch. Today I am going to move my compost bin. I'm going to show you how I do that. It's very simple. Over the summer I've been composting things in it. There's some good compost at the bottom that I need to dig out, while the top has not composted down yet. So I want to get to the good stuff that I can use and need to use, and then how I will transfer the stuff that hasn't composted back into it to compost further. And I'll show you how I layer my debris in it and get it to compost faster for me. So let's get rolling. It's kind of a compact space, so I'm going to do the best I can. Here, I probably should go get my gloves, but down here, you can see this black, beautiful compost. Now, I could dig it out from here, and that's an option. But what I like to do, because I want to be able to shovel this into a bucket very quickly and easily, is I'm going to lift this off. And this is just one of those plastic ones. I've had this for 20 years. It has a lid. This summer I haven't been using the lid. I have had let me see, one of my irrigation little sprinklers sitting on top, and it would, whenever the sprinkler was turned on or the irrigation, it would moisten that, and that really accelerates the composting action for me. I also will show you how I put some chicken debris in it on top of debris I've pulled up. Now, I put in here mostly debris that I pull out of my own garden, and then I put the chicken litter on it, and that helps it all to compost on down. So I'm going to keep you pointed. I don't have room to move you back very far, but I think you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I'll cut off my head, but that's okay. You'll see the bin. Now, you notice that on top, this stuff really isn't composted. And so to pull this up, now this hollyhock here really can go if I can pull it up. I don't have my glasses. Let me move these over here. I don't need them on my head for this. All right. Now I'm going to have to work this a bit and get it lifted off. The beauty of this compost bin is it's very lightweight. And I do this the same with my DIY compost bin that I have built. So that'll work too. So I'm just pulling this out of here so that I can put it where I want it. Now I have a spot right over here. I'll show you. This is a raised bed that I have there to bring the soil level up. It's all rock underneath there, and it was an unused space. So I had put that raised bed there because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. My first bit in there. And then I was putting soil and stuff in it, and I had put some tomatoes in it to see how they would do there this last summer. They're doing okay. They still haven't gotten ripe because this was getting much more shade over here. But now I'm going to show you, I'll make sure I'm in the camera. I'm going to show you how I'm going to take this debris that's not composted down yet and put it on the bottom of that. Ooh, got some rose canes in here. Those take a while to compost, so I'm going to toss them aside. I have some debris also that I had that fell out and around. And this is plant I pulled up, has a little dirt on it, but it's not composted. So now there's a bunch of, I don't want a rose cane in there because that takes too long to compost down. I'll put it over there to be hauled off. But I have grass down here that I'm pulling up that grew around the base because it was getting moisture from, the composter. I grabbed a rose cane. Gotta watch what I'm doing. Have to be more mindful of not putting rose canes in there. Oh, that's a wild rose growing up from underneath. No wonder. Okay. So I'm just pulling the grass up around here from it that grew. I have a wild dog rose growing in. All right. So you can see part of this has composted and some has not. So this is what I will dig through, and if I'm going to use it in my potting soil, I will screen it. So all these big chunks will be taken out. Now this is some beautiful stuff in here. Some of it is still some of the chicken litter that went down the edge that didn't get moist. But I want to get down to the really black stuff. So this chicken litter here, I can tell it's not fully composted. I'll go ahead and put in there to finish composting. This is a potted plant that I stuck in there. Okay. That'll help get this, what's not composted, going down in there. And now I'm going to go get my shovel and show you the black beauty that's underneath. That's that part of that dog rose. Alrighty. Now, down here is some daisies that I had put down. I pulled out from somewhere. I'll put in there. And this is how I compost plants I pull up, cut back, etc. I don't always chop them up. Yep, they would compost faster if I chopped them up, but I don't always have the time to chop them all that much. All right, now down here is a foxglove that's going to grow up here. I think I want to leave that there. And there's some debris over there that I think I'll compost in place. So I'll just leave that there for the winter. I'm just putting this more chicken litter. Now this smells nice, so the chicken litter must have composted enough because it doesn't stink. So I'm just trying to clean up all this area while I'm down here. Okay, so there's stuff over there beside the road that'll get pulled up, that'll get put in here. And I'm trying to see if there's any worms. I didn't see any. Oh, yep, there's a big old fat worm right there. Wonderful. Okay, so now I'm going to dig up some of this and screen it as I put it into my bucket. Here, see that wonderful worm? There you go, buddy. Sorry to disturb you. So I hope you can see. Here's the, yeah. So I'm just going to take my shovel, and it's pretty moist down there. Got lots of worms squirming around in there. And basically, it's a little moist. I may have to wait to really screen it well. But if this was drier, this would fall through here into the tub below. So that's so wet. So I may have to let it sit. The only thing when you let it sit and dry out, sometimes it's clumpy rather than granularly. So, and this is just a screen I made. You can buy screens if you want, if you don't want to make it. This is just some 2x2s and 1x2s. And then I just stuck hardware cloth. This is 1/2 inch hardware cloth. So let me see if I can get down to some of the drier stuff. Yeah, really sticky stuff. And if I wanted to, I could just let it sit on the screen to dry out. It'll dry out probably in an hour or two. And then I can finish screening it in here. But that basically is how I do it. And whatever falls off, it's just providing nutrients around here. I said I was going to show you how I load it up. You saw I put a bunch of garden debris in here, and I need to kind of scooch it around where it's in all four corners so they don't have like just a big mound in the middle. I don't want to smash it hard because you want air in there. And then I just put some of the debris in there. And then I went and dug up a pail of chicken litter. You see, it's real powdery. It's full of alfalfa, straw, wood chips, all kinds of rice hulls, all the things that I put down as bedding for my chickens. Fortunately, the breeze is blowing the dust that way. You don't want to breathe that dust in, it's not healthy. Alrighty. Now, what I would do is this sprinkler is not long enough to put in there, but I will devise one that will reach over and it will sprinkle the top, and or I'll just let this sit for winter because the winter rains and stuff will do the moisture part of it. I'll put this over here in this little planter. So that, my friends, is how I compost. I don't chop up the bits. Let me see, can you see over here? Just trust me, over here. First of all, some iris I dug up that I didn't want, but there's some feverfew over here that I need to just pull up. And I just wad it up and throw it in there. Make it as easy as you can on yourself. So now let's go talk about those potting soil issues I've been having and a fair warning. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about potting soil. Now, I was watching a video channel and they were comparing potting soil that you can buy readily, big box stores, nurseries, etc. So they did like 14 of them, 15. And the one that did the worst through their several month trial was the one I used. Now, it was like a light bulb going off because this last year or two, even my seedlings this year, because I use it for my seedlings, didn't do great. And I didn't know why. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And normally, this potting soil had enough nutrients in it to last 3 months, so I wouldn't fertilize. Well, come to find out, and I had noticed this, there's a lot more woody substance in this potting soil. I had noticed that there was much more chunks of wood, less perlite, and it wasn't as fine, it wasn't as black. And though I had noticed it, it didn't register. So that's what I wanted to warn you about is if you see something that's different, think about it. And like I said, many of my containers just struggled. The ones, my tomatoes on my deck that I put in my Vigo self-watering containers, I could not figure out why they looked nitrogen starved because I thought this potting soil was filled with goodies. It has bat guano and all this kind of stuff. It's EB Stone Edna's Best is the brand. And in the past, it had been very good. It had been a higher quality than this. But as everything, a lot of people are trying to save money while keeping the price lower on their products. And yep, it probably would have worked fine if I would have supplemented with my compost, with a slow release fertilizer in there with it. But the whole reason that I bought it in the first place was you didn't have to do that. Therefore, you save money in the long run. So now that I know this compost that I am creating, and I'm going to be finished screening more of it, I will mix with half and half with what I have left. I have 1 bag left of the EB Stone Edna's Best. I have much more of my ingredients to make my DIY potting soil, which has always worked beautifully. And I think I'm just going to try and stick with it. I would have stuck with it this year too, but I just couldn't get my hands on a big truckload of the Diestel organic turkey compost. And that's the main ingredient that I use in my DIY potting soil. And yeah, but it was a relief. It was a relief to know that I wasn't a complete failure with those container plants. There was a reason for it, and I finally figured out what it was. So yeah, be cognizant. And the Edna's Best is not the low end of the totem pole on the cost scale, up here at least. It is more local than many others. It was interesting that the one that did the best for them was the Miracle Grow, bottom of the line, Miracle Grow regular potting soil, and that's because they have the synthetic fertilizers in it. Now, I steer away from synthetic fertilizers because I'm an organic gardener. But if you think about it, in pots and containers, what's the big deal? Because it's contained. It's not out in your garden. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But I wanted to tell you which one did the best, just in case you had containers that weren't thriving and whatever, and you wanted to know about a potting soil that has worked well and is affordable, more affordable than many others. But I'll stick with my DIY potting soil for now. Alrighty, friends. Okay, that is how I move my compost bin this time of year, because it's usually full and needs to be transferred so I can dig down to what has already composted and is already made into compost. As I fill that, it will be filled up very quickly. I could work for one day out here in my garden, cutting back and pulling up, and that thing will be filled. I will layer, as I showed you, some debris from the garden, pulled, cut back, what have you, a layer of chicken debris from my chicken pen, another layer of garden debris from pulling up, and another layer of chicken manure. And then I will probably, until we start getting rain, start wetting it down so it'll go lower, because it'll just stay tall or filled. And then as it decomposes with the moisture, it goes down, and so that I can continue filling it. I need to put up my other compost bin, my DIY one made with fence boards. I'm thinking of putting it inside of my chicken pen, and then I could just put the chicken debris in that right away and moisten it, and that will all be ready to go come spring or within a couple months. I think a few weeks, actually, if I keep moistening it enough. But so that is my lazy way to compost, very effective, and my little warning about potting soils. So, and about paying attention. When you see something has changed, have it register that maybe it's not as good as it used to be. All right, I will see you in my next video, and please do go on back and watch how I plant up my lazy way, my irises. And you've seen my iris tours in the spring. My irises do beautiful here. They love it here. And so, yeah, go ahead and watch that. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.